Guten Tag, welcome back to another episode of Meat and 3 Veg. Today we're making scallion pancakes. Now I don't really bake a lot. This is one of the few things that I do kind of bake, and when I say bake I mean like, dough. I don't mean put dough in the oven or use yeast or anything. But yeah, this is one of the few ones that I actually do. It's a really simple dish, kind of hard to get right. It's a bit finicky as well, but it uses one of the most simple doughs you can find. And today I'm actually using a special dough. I'll link it in the description, but it's a high protein plain flour. I've made it in the past with this dough and it hasn't been too different from just all-purpose flour, which is what you're supposed to use. But for the purpose of today, we'll use this because we like high protein things. All right, so let's get this working. So I'm gonna be using about a cup of flour. Okay, so this is about a cup of flour. So on this scale, it's showing about 133 grams. Might take it to be a little bit more of an even number, 150 grams. On a 50% hydration, that would be 75 grams of water. So on a 40 to 45, we're looking at around about 65 to 70. Just gonna slowly incorporate this water in. This flour is very hydrophobic, as you can see. The water just kind of slakes off. Just gonna incorporate all this water in. This is really all the recipe needs. It's just water and flour, and it comes together in a really shaggy dough. So we're doing this first because this needs some time to proof. You can proof it for however long you want. The longer the better, really. Ideally, you want to do it overnight. I'm just going to probably do it for a couple of hours. Cool. That looks pretty good. With my hand now. Okay, so this is looking a bit too dry still. It might need a little bit more water, which is okay. Add a tiny bit more water. So this probably took it to 50% hydration. It's probably 3 extra grams of water, which is okay. Cool. Now, this bench is clean. I prepared that in advance, which is really good. For this dough, it's good. Just gonna fold and push with the bottom of my palm until we incorporate everything together. A little bit more water maybe. You can see here that it's starting to incorporate together. So it's a lot more pronounced. It's also quite a dead dough, which is what we want. I've got the scallions here washed and drying. I'm going to chop them up and get ready to actually assemble the scallion pancake. I'm going to remove the end. It does not matter whether we're cutting the white or the big end. We just don't want to have any like crappy end pieces here, so I'm going to get rid of those. And when we cut this, we want to cut this thin. So the reason why is because as we fold the different layers of a scallion pancake on top of each other, big, thick pieces will break it apart, whereas thin pieces will meld into it. So we want this as thin as we can get it. So I'm going to make a couple of cuts here for the sake of making this easier for myself. I've just sharpened the knife as well. I want this as sharp as possible to make as thin as possible cuts. And literally just using the knife to do this. The sharpness of the knife. I'm going to cut through all of these. I like to use a lot of scallions in this dish, so does my dad. This is where, if you buy it on a street, you'll get maybe like a quarter of the amount of scallions that you get when you can make it at home, and this is where a lot of that flavor comes from. So there's really no reason to skimp out when you're at home. A whole batch of spring onions or scallions, which is what I'm using today, costs like $3 from the supermarket. Now that you can see how fine I want it, right, I'm going to do it for the rest of this. All right, those are the spring onions ready to go. All right, so for this next bit, we're just gonna roll out the dough. So you'll need a rolling pin and some flour to flour your rolling surface, right? This is where it gets a little bit messier, which is obviously not ideal, but unavoidable. So you really want to spread this into as big of a rectangle shape as you can get. There. And it is going to bounce back a bit, which is always annoying. It just means you have to roll for longer. That's pretty thin. All right, the next bit is, I guess, the fun part, which is where you actually build the flavor. So I'm going with some olive oil now, and this is going to be the oil plus the binder for it all. I'm just going to go with my hand. This is some nice quality extra virgin olive oil. Don't be afraid to go a little bit heavier on this side, because this is where a lot of the flavor will come from, and it will allow for that really nice fry as well. That's why it's really important. So next bit is I'm going to salt this, season from a height, salt this pretty aggressively, not too aggressively of course, but like enough that there'll be some salty flavor everywhere you go. Now traditionally speaking, you're meant to be using like a Chinese style white pepper. I didn't have time to buy any, so we're just going in with cracked black pepper. I'm gonna really tighten the mill so it's fine. I don't want any big chunks if possible. And then we go in with the spring onions. So this is where we want to go really heavy with these. You know, like just absolutely load it up. Yeah. One thing my dad always taught me, which was really important, was make sure that you get it all the way onto the edges, because you don't want any pockets without flavor. Look at that. You'll never see scallion pancake with this many spring onions. I'm gonna give this a bit of a press. So they're kind of stuck. And we're just gonna roll it. So this is how we start creating the layers that make this dish really iconic. There we go. Good. Okay. Now we have this snake. So we're going to get a bit of flour, and then we're going to seal these ends up so that the stuff stops coming out. Very important. And then we're just going to give it a bit of a stretch. Nice. We're going to chop it into probably thirds, I'd say. 1/3. And another third. Okay. Now this is the bit that's the important part. You're going to add another layer of spiraling by just twisting it on itself and then flattening it. Oh, there you go, see? Seal it with some flour and set it to the side. It is going to leak out a little bit. You just have to be ready for that. I'm going to roll it out. So this is where we're compressing all the layers into one size, where it will now form a pancake shape. The goal is to get this flat without everything absolutely squeezing out, which is a little bit inevitable, so you have to go a little bit gently here. Will come out a little bit, but that's okay. Give it some extra flour. There we go. That's one ready to go. I'll leave that one for a second. All right, going with a bit more oil. Spread it around a bit. Oh yeah, that's smoking. Remember, we don't need too much oil because it's got a lot of oil wrapped inside its layers. We need to really make the layers separate internally. So there will be a little bit of flipping back and forth as we want this to cook through. You don't want any of that raw dough flavor coming through, of course. I'll give this a quick flip. There we go. Give it a flip. Throw it onto the plate. Throw it onto the plate. Throw it onto the plate. Give it a throw. Give it a throw. Give it a throw. Give it a throw. There we go. Now that's loosened up, you can see all the layers are now all of a sudden very loose, frolicking about. It's exactly what we want. That's done. Ready to go. Turn it over. And that's it. Now while that's cooking, ooh, that's hot. All the different layers inside of it. It's really hot. But yeah, you just kind of rip it and eat it. Yum. I'll finish cooking the rest of these. Thanks for watching.